First thing, this puzzle has 145 cells. This means that this puzzle has, if you look at the amount of cells, it has 72 cells, 72 moves. I mean, so because of checkerboard, you must end in the same checkerboard of the start. Okay. This already means that, for example, you can't ever end here, and you can't end here, and you can't end. I'm sorry, and you can't end here. At the same time, you cannot absolutely end here. So all of those moves are just ways, just places in which you can't end, and the same applies for the thing that you have here at the bottom. And well, all of this means that we can already say that we can't enter this round. You can't enter all of these, and you can't enter these, you can't enter these, you can't enter these. Sadly, the others are possible ends at the moment. Hey Bells! Hey, please help, because today we have the last 3 recoils. So just help, please. Now, my first point that I had here, and I know that it's maybe not exactly the first thing that you should know about this puzzle, because it's not exactly needed. But clearly you can't end here, because if you end here, those will never be recoiled. So this one is also not an ending. But sorry when I look down, because I just have my telephone with my screenshots, so that's why I look down. But yeah, you'll forgive me for that. So the first thing that I just want to let you know is that it's not forced that all of those moves are horizontal. Why I'm saying that? Because in theory, you could have something like this, or something even like this. You can, in theory, make, for example, you can make this move and then make another move here, for example. So you take with this, you take this, and with this you take the other one, for example. So I'm just trying to show you that in theory, you know that those 3 cells are exactly going to the right. I mean, are moves going to the right. And I can prove that this one is like that as well, because you can't make this move, clearly, because you can't just exit this way. And if you try to make this move, for time reasons, sorry, you just stop here. So this would be the end of the puzzle. But at this point, the question is, if with this move you're reaching this, and this is the end of the puzzle, so all of these can't be recoiled at this point. So what I'm just trying to say is that there is no way that the 4 cells here are recoiled vertically. Sadly, this one could, in theory. So you can't just tell that you must recoil that this way. But they are recoils, and also I know for sure that my puzzle doesn't go in this cell, because if I do that, I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 recoils at most. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 recoils at most. I should end here. But the fact that it should end here doesn't work. What? Me and that with recoils don't make sense in the same phrase. I mean, that's not true. But see that me and constructing a recoil puzzle don't go in the same sentence like Ramatout. Also make 11 cell recoils. Yeah, that's so true. Donatello sent a puzzle. So if Donatello sent a puzzle, I mean, you can as well. I'm absolutely sure of that at the same time. So what I'm saying is that if I want to do that, I just end here, okay? Please remember that, because we will say that it's a problem in a little bit. Now, Hey, Posa. Hey, Pose. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry you not feel well, but yeah, please enjoy the stream. Enjoy the stream. And anyway, I'm sure Bells can solve. Okay, can I tell? I'm sure Bells can solve all of those recoils. I don't think there is a recoil here that Bells can solve. Honestly, I'm pretty sure of that. Pretty convinced of that. Now, I know also that I cannot do that. Why I can't do that? Because if I try to do this, now I must take 1, 2, and 3 moves and then stop here, and now I must stop also there. This means that I must take all of those cells, and this one goes here, okay? So this is in theory something that clearly works, but I know that I must end in the same checkerboard, and I'm not in the same checkerboard, okay? So I can't exactly do that. I'm still using the same approach here. And I'm using the same approach because this is a good approach at the moment. So this one is as well just a recoil cell. So this one is also a recoil cell. I don't think so. Yeah, I'm really convinced that you can. But I mean, I can send you the hardest one, and you will solve that without problems. I mean, I solved those puzzles. If I solved those puzzles, you can solve all of those puzzles. There is just no way that you can do that, like literally. So it's absolutely certain that. Now, like for the same reason, this one must also be like that, because it can't be the end. Sadly, the others, this one could be the end, of course. This one can't, but the other could be. Anyway, hey, agent. Bells can also solve all the castles in the sky. Yeah, I'm absolutely sure. There's clearly no way she can't do that. So we can absolutely say something like this. But now there is something very relevant. Look at what we have to the right. If we want to look at the right of this, and I mean, you can ask why I said all of those stuffs about those other cells. It's because I need some recoils to be like forced somehow in the grid because of what I'm trying to say and do. First of all, if I want to end here, and now this means that this one is never a cell for the path, that this one is never a cell, this one is never a cell, because I can't end in other places. So all of those must be cells, and all of these must be like that. So I have some cells that just can't be reached. This one can't be reached, so as well those two can't be. This one can't be, this one can't be. I have some things that are just forced to be like that, okay? But now, if you follow me for a second, this means that all of those cells mean that I must go upwards somehow in some places. I must go up here. And now, because I end here, I must go down. So I need a move like this one or the other one, okay? Now the question is where I start. Why I'm saying that the question is where I start? Because all of those moves are recoils, and I... okay, how can I explain that easily? How can I explain that easily? Okay, I know. I know how can I explain that. Imagine that this cell is not a horizontal move. So it's not made by an horizontal move in this world. This means that this one must be a vertical move, and I must do that. Now I can go here. This one stops. This one comes from this side. And this means that from here, if I try to go down, I'm just creating a lot of problems. But in theory, I could do that and then stop again. But at a certain point, I must go up. So there is no way that I don't reach this part above here, okay? Because like remember that I must do this move, okay, somehow. Now the fact that this is like gonna go this way means that all of those must be recoils horizontally. So I have some horizontal moves to make here. All of those must be horizontal moves to make, okay? I'm just trying to use a lot, like all of the things that I can. That's the plan at the moment, okay? So when I try to do so, and I mean I can't clearly go through here because it's too much, okay? So in theory, I could continue this way and somehow try to reach the amount of cells that must be recoiled for this side to work. I mean, all of this works at this point, but every time I try to go to the right here, I still leave some cells that somehow must be recoiled, and even if, okay, one of these could be recoiled, all the others must be recoiled after I do that. So the problem is that if I try to go to the right, somehow, I take some cells that must be recoiled from this side this way, because I can't recoil them vertically. In any case, because I'm going down, I'm going upwards because of the fact that I'm going clockwise in this configuration. The other option is that I try to not recoil anything here. So, like for example, yeah, it doesn't really matter, but I do something like this. Now, this clearly doesn't work because this breaks this. All of this means that if I want to end, wait a second. To end here at the end here, this means that this move must be also an horizontal move. So all of those moves must be horizontal, okay? All of these must be horizontal. And now my question is very simple. And my question is, now that I know that I have those moves to be made horizontally, like, how many recoils do I have here? Because now I have a problem, and that problem is all these things down. If I try to take enough cells here and to be like that, so to connect to the end, this means that I will never recoil everything that I have down, because those are after. So this means that if I try to go through here, for example, I don't know, like this. Here I'm taking a lot of cells here, and those things will never be recoiled because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for example. I take all of them at the end of this. Or if I don't do that and I try to not do this now, and so I'm recoiling the stuff, and then I end there. Like, I don't know, I do stuff like this. And then somehow I recoil everything that I want, and then I use all of them to recoil stuff that is here. This thing is very impossible because I'm still making other moves going to the right. So what I'm trying to say is that there is a specific amount of cells that I can recoil from this side, and that specific amount of cells is not exactly what I want in. Okay, wait a second. I'm not explaining that very well, but let me try to use a better. I also don't understand the interpaths. Yeah. Okay. Okay. What I'm trying to say is that if I want to connect all of those things and still recoil the things that are downwards, I have a lot of problems in terms of how many cells can I make as path moves in that row, because this move is this entire row is very restrictive in that terms because of what I have down here. And what I'm trying to say is that if I try, for example, to make these, I have 1, 2, 3, for example. Okay, that pretty much works. But now I must make another move. So, like, for example, I do that. Okay, this is clearly working for the row, because those are aligning those 4, and then if I do that, I align 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? All of this means that somehow, if I don't do that, and I try to do that somehow in other places here, for example, and I make some of those moves and then I make other of those moves, like I can complete the row, but all of those different situations that I have here are connected by one specific thing. That is the one thing that I'm trying to explain here, and I get that it's a bit hard sometimes to explain, but the point is that at a certain point I must go down here, and now because I must reach the things that are down here, I mean I must exit these and somehow recoil all of those things together. But it's not the problem. This is not the problem. The problem is that after I do that, I must somehow reach the first row, sorry, because I have to recoil all those things, okay? And then I must go down somehow, and then I must end here to finish the puzzle. So this is what I must do if I end to the bottom right. So just in terms of how the path globally works, I'm not thinking about the specific things. I'm just talking about how the things connect. But this is just broken. This is broken because it doesn't matter how I design this thing. The problem is not involving this row. I mean, what I had with this row is just the fact that I must connect through here with another point that goes out, and it's forced because of what I have at the bottom. So that's why I spent some time looking at that. Why? Because if I don't do that, and I try to recoil everything from here, now this is recoiling after, and these things are never recoiled because I can't continue from the end of the puzzle. So at a certain point I must go here, and then I go up, then I reach the up side, and then I go down. Now, why this is broken? Because of this. Why? Let me try to explain. If I try to do so, those 4 things must be recoiled somehow in some ways at a certain point. So for example, yeah, it doesn't really matter, but I do that, even if this doesn't work, but yeah, imagine that I do this, okay? I do this thing. Now at a certain point I must make this, and because I must make those moves are horizontal, going in the other direction. So at a certain point I must reach here and connect, but this means that I must end here. Why I must end here? It doesn't matter where I am here. The problem is that those moves, at least the last of those moves, so this one, must be in a direction in which I can't go down, because all of those moves are not possible. And I can't make these moves after, because if I make those moves after somehow, this means that at a certain point I'm connecting those 2 things. And this is a problem that is very relevant, because every time you go through here, if you are not stopping, and that's the wall of the point that I have to make. If you are not please let me just remove all of those, because they are not needed now. Like every time you want to continue from this row to down somehow, then I must make some moves that go to this side, and those things must connect here, and now I can't go down. So unless I stop here, or I stop in the top row, I can't make those 2 rows, this one and this one, to work. And this is a problem just because the way the entire puzzle is constructed, and not only that, this means that I must end here or down, and so I can't end here. The fact that I can't end here means that all of those are recoils. And now that I know that all of those are recoils, like every time I know that I must go through these 2 things, at this point that I have these 2 things being like the ending of the puzzle at this point. Sorry, an easier and very important thing with this puzzle is that the top row. Yes, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you recoil the top row first, you have to end in the second row. Yes. You just start explaining that. Yes. I'm trying to also give some information on how the rest of the things are connected to this. So I was using the last row because I always must know that this thing at this point must be reached before I do anything else. And this is also another relevant part. And also, this is how I discovered the first two rows in terms of what happens. So I'm just following my entire path. That's pretty much it, okay? But now I have a problem. And the problem is that now I have 4 cells here and 4 cells here. And those 4 cells are horizontal recoils. Those 3 cells are horizontal recoils as well. And now my question is, could this cell be a vertical recoil? If this is the case, I'm still doing that. This is like forced to be like that. And now I have a problem though, because now this means that somehow I want to go down and recoil all of those cells before I do other stuff, if I want those to be recoiled this way. And not only that, but then I must make those 3 recoils and those 4 recoils, and I must finish in the top 2 rows. Now, all of those things together are a problem. Why is that a problem? First of all, if here I try to go up, just go up, I must reach the top row, and now I'm ending, and now those things will never be recoiled, so there is no way to do that. So I must do this. That is something that I was showing before, okay? If you look at what I was showing before. Now I can't go here, so I must go up. Now I must go up twice, for example. But now, this means a lot of things together. Like the first thing that it means that is that I must go up again. So this is already 1, 2, and 3 moves here. And clearly I can't use this move for one of those recoils, because if I do that for one of those recoils, this move is empty, and so I'm using that to recoil this cell. So what I have is that those 3 moves that are forced are recoiling 1, 2, and 3. And now I'm recoiling those 3 moves here, and now how can I ever recoil those before or after? If I try to recoil those after, this means that somehow I must go, I don't know, I must do something that I can't in fact do. Because I mean, I can do that maybe, and I go down, but at a certain point, even if I try to do these things, I'm just showing you what happens. I'm just showing without considering the rest. I just go here, and then I take all of those to recoil. And when I take all of those to recoil, there is just no way that I recoil the others, and then somehow I connect up. So it's always a connectivity problem. I'm just showing you a path just to let you know what happens, okay? But the whole problem is that there is absolutely no way that I can, in any words, recoil those things vertically. I mean, this one vertically at least. And because this one can't be recoiled vertically, it just means that all of those moves and those whole 4 moves are horizontal recoils. But they are opposite. So because they are opposite, they must be made by 2 different parts of path that are in the middle. So like you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 going here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 going here. And now because this is just enough, I can't make other variations from this side, from this point, because these are just enough. So I can't make moves that don't go this way. So all of these are just going this way. And now I can't enter ever this side, because I must end in the top 2 rows. So I must go here, and now I must go here. And this is just entirely forced. So all of those moves now at this point are recoils. And I knew that, but now I know that in a better fashion. That's my point. And now there are some very big problems about how the entire puzzle works. Why I'm saying that? You guys confuse me? Okay. Come on, this puzzle is, as I said, is not that hard in terms of understanding what's going on. Now, the first question that I have in mind is, am I reaching the part to the left or the part to the right before? So I'm gonna go like here, and then somehow I'm gonna go like here, or it's the opposite one, like I do the other one version of this. Now the answer at this is how can I say that? It's very relevant. The way how can I prove that I must go to the left and then to the right and not the other way around. The fact is this, that if I try to go to the right here, so I take this one first, then I know for sure that somehow I must reach the end here, somehow, at a certain point. But this means that I must reach this side now, and then I must go upwards and take the last things that are here. And I can do that doing this before and then the other one, or doing that and then going down this way to recoil the rest, okay? So there is just one of those two options. Now, why this version breaks and why the other version doesn't break? The point is this. I want to be sure that with one of the moves in which I go in one of the two directions in some ways, I must go in a specific part of the puzzle before reaching the other one. I'm trying to explain. If I go here, for example, and then I somehow want to go down here, this is just not working. Why I'm saying that? Because now, to connect this part of the grid to the other part of the grid, I'm clearly creating some sort of crown around the last part. So at a certain point here, I just must connect this way. This is just forced to be like that. But the same applies on the other side. I cannot I cannot do this and try to connect now this one upwards. And I know that I must reach the upper side though. But this means that those two things are not connected together. And because they are not connected together, because they are not just connecting the left with the right and right with the left, it means that at a certain point I must go through one of those, then I must go up. Because at a certain point I must go upwards, and then I go down again and reach one of those two. It's like forced to do like that. So it means that I can't end in the top row, because if I end in the top row, it means that those two things must be connected before I get to the upside, and I can't do that. There is no way to do that. So I must take this move at least. I don't know if I'm continuing or not, but I must take this, because now I must go out of the first row here. But it's not just that. The problem is another. It's that now at this point, I must go down. And so, if I want to go here, and then I want to go there, to not intersect these, I must connect through here, through this side, okay? Through this gap. And when I do that through this gap, I don't know where, but imagine that I do that this way, and then I go up. Now, okay, I could recoil those things, but now I must end here, remember? So, because now I must end here, this means that somehow I must go down, I must reach this, and now somehow I must connect here and end in this row. That's clearly not working, because I have too many connections here. And not only that, but just this one means that I can't ever reach this part of the puzzle again. In other words, I cannot do that this way, because just there is not enough space to the left of the starting point to not intersect here and there twice. So you are forced to go through this gap first. So like you go through here, then somehow you must go here, somehow you must connect to the upper side, somehow you must go down, and somehow you must go up again to finish this. And this is how the puzzle works. Like I know now that this is like the entire connection that I must make around the puzzle. So I must go down, take the first step, then go up, then go to the right, then go down again, then reach the second part there, and then when I reach the second part there, I just go up again and take the last row that goes there. And not only that, but this row must be entirely inside this long gap that I have here. So like I must have something like this. Now, let me just rewind a lot. Because clearly this is not solving the puzzle. Or, I mean, it is indeed. But this means that not only I'm solving the puzzle in terms of understanding what's globally happening, but also I'm understanding that there are some pieces of these that are very forced. What do I mean with that? I mean that I can't, like for example, do that and then I try to continue here, because I don't have enough space. And if I don't do that in this gap and I try to do that there, remember that those are connecting here and this one is connecting there, so you create a loop. You create an intersection. You can't have the intersection. So this means that the cells that I'm recoiling from here, that are 4 cells, must be made horizontally in this direction inside the long crown that I had. Like, I don't know, like stuff like this. But now, where is the smallest gap for those 4? This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So those moves are just you can't go through these less than these. Those are just forced. And so in other words, I must make 1, 2, and 3, and 4. But I don't know if I start here. I could in theory start there and then make 1 or 2 even, and so on. But I know that I must make this. At least I'm sure I'm doing this. I'm doing this, okay? That's like, as I said, it's just forced. But now I know that this part is before this one. So here I can't go here because I would reach this. So remember that every time we take the first, like the one to the left, is gonna be made before I make the other one. And so this one must continue upwards. And now I have a problem. Because if I try to continue upwards also here, I can't go here as the same as well, and so I must continue this way. And now? Now I can't go through here. This is clearly not working. Let me just show you. This is not working because of this. And if I try to continue here, so like I do that, then at a certain point I must do this. And my question is, how can I ever do this? I can't go down and recoil this way. And if I continue this way, I still can't do that. And every time I try to continue here, this one can't recoil. I can't continue this way. So everything I do to the right here is just not working because of what I have there. Unless I go here. If I go this way, now this in theory works, because now I have space to do so and then continue upwards. But now I have another problem, and that problem is that when I do that, and even if I don't want to recoil much, so I don't know, I'm doing that to avoid a lot of stuff. But now I go here, and then when I continue, I can't continue up, so I must continue this way. And then now I can't continue this way, I must continue here. And as you can see, I'm just creating a lot of different moves here that are this is just the minimum that I can tell anyway, that I can do. Okay, I can't continue here, I can't continue here because I would create even more complicated things. But at a certain point, the fact is that I can't go here, I must go here, I must go up. When I go up here, I can't return, so I must go here. This one goes here, this one can't go up, this one can't go up, this one can't go, and so on and so on and so on. In other words, I'm just what I'm trying to say. I was just showing this to you at this point. It's not required that you do all of that. It's just required that you understand what's going on. And what's going on is that every time you try to put this one too much to the right, like at this column, you just can't get out. Why? Because this one creates a wall here, and so you can't get out from these unless you reach the upper side, but you can't make all of those moves. This is just not working for the column, so you can't do that. And what I was about to say is that if you go up, you can't go here because you trap everything. and you can't go here because whatever you do here, you are doing that, and when you do that, you are removing a lot of space for this, and you are forcing this to just reach this second to last column, and you can't do that. You can't reach that column. In other words, this just means that this move is not allowed because this started from this move. So I must go to the right here. When I go to the right here, clearly I can't continue here and go up because I have nothing to go up this way, and so I must go up here, taking this cell. I mean, this is as I said, pretty much entirely forced that you do this kind of stuff. Also, those two are recoiled now, exactly now. And so this is the situation in which we are now. Now, yeah. Now the problem arises like every time I try to put the left side too much to the right. Why I'm saying that? Because even if you want to do that this way, this is the minimum I can do anyway. So this is clearly the minimum I can do here. This means that I still must do that, okay? But I'm just trying to be as efficient as I can, okay? And yeah, I don't know. I'll make some moves here to avoid some of the situations that we could have here, okay? Now, if I ever try to, I don't know, to do that and then do that and do that and do that, you can't continue upwards this way, and you can't do that. So every time you try, you are literally giving up a lot of moves here. Every time you go to the right. This means that for this to work, you must make all of those moves, at least. And those moves are just not enough, because you can't recoil too much from here. You can recoil at most 2 cells here. But recoiling at most 2 cells here means that at a certain point here, I want to go here. So this is just not working in that word, because every time I try to do that, how can I explain that in an easier way? Every time I try to go to the right here too much, this one will just close to here, and now the other will close to here. But this is very relevant because we can infer, yeah, probably it's infer the word. We can just tell something very relevant with this. And what I mean is that we can, for example, say that every time I reach this, for example, if you imagine that I'm doing that exactly now, so I take all of those cells, those 4, and so I do that, I'm clearly doing all of these. That's just not forcing, so that's just not working. So this one is just not possible to do like that. It's like you can't make that here. So this means that you can't just finish here. You must continue, and so you have another cell here that goes to at least this point, and this point must be part of that, because this is like too much to the left. Also remember that you can't make all of those moves, and if you do that, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 yet, and you have 6 here, so you can't make this move as well. So now you're forced to do that, and now because you're forced to do that, this means that you must stop here. But because you must stop here, now you know that it's 1, 2, 3, and 4 cells. Because you can't wiggle, there is no way you wiggle here, because you have nothing to go down. So those 4 cells are exactly the 4 cells that must be taken into account by those moves, okay? And now I still have a problem, and I have a big problem with the puzzle, why I'm saying that there is a problem here with what I'm trying to do. First of all, how can I explain that? I can't continue here, so I must go through this gap. Okay, now I must make those two before, clearly. So I could go down, for example, and then down again, but then I must go down again because what I have here is 1, 2, and 3. I take those 3 cells, and now I can't continue here. And now, how can I ever reach this one? I must make some moves to the right here, okay, to reach those cells, because those cells must be somehow recoiled, and they must be recoiled before I take the last steps, of course, because I must recoil those. So this means that from this point I must make a lot of vertical moves here. So if I count, I have 1, 2, and 3, and there is no way that those are recoiled before. So this 1, 2, and 3, this is 1, 2, and 3, for example. And then, what do? Then, to finish recoiling those, I must make other moves. Now, one of them could be this one. The other one must be a wiggling, like this one, for example, okay? So if I do that, for example, I take this, and then I have 1, 2, and 3 moves here, and then I have 5 and 6, 4 and 5 that are taking those. So I'm recoiling everything here for these 2 columns. But when I do that, I still have a big problem, and that problem is this cell. I can't recoil this cell now anymore. Like there is no way to recoil this cell now, because I must make all of those moves vertically, and now I don't have space to not do that horizontally. At the same time, though, if I go down, I must reach this cell, because I can't do that, I recoil here, and I can't go down here, I recoil here. So this thing just doesn't work. In other words, I can't go down this way, and so I must continue this way. Now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 cells, and if I count here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 cells. So I'm recoiling everything into the row. Now I must go down here, and I must go down again, because I can't go here, because I must use this at this point. And when I'm here, I'm finally ready to recoil this cell. Recoiling this one and this one, of course. Ed eccoci. And now I must recoil this one, and now I have the possibility to recoil here exactly now. Sorry, I'm trying to remember now. Oh yes, now I can't go here, and I can't go here, so I must continue downwards. So I must recoil this. And I was reading the chat, sorry. I was a bit confused. Donatello explained the use of recoil to Isaiah. This is lovely. Okay. Well, now Isaiah, you can solve recoil. Are you happy with that? Okay. Okay, what I have here is this cell can't be a path cell, clearly. You can't make this move going this way. Now I have a problem though. Like, could I make this move? No, I can't again. It's just not working, okay? Because I can't go through here. I could make the other, the orientation in the other way. Yes, I could. But what I'm asking is, can I go this way and then go this way? Because if I do that, clearly I'm recalling this cell, and this is fine. But now, okay, no, it was not this the cell, the right cell. Wait, this was not the right cell. Okay, I'm trying to remember the more constrained cell here. I'm just trying to remember. Okay, here in my screens, I have something that I don't exactly remember / understand. So please forgive me, but I have yeah, that's clearly not the thing that I did to completely prove the path. Okay, Niv, thanks. What I did around here was question how the single recoil cell above the final row is get recoil. It has to be from the singular right move to the right, so everything before that needs to be either recoil before or path must go there, or path must come from the right. Yeah, that's a good point. If I do that, if I do this, I must recoil all those all of those cells before I make this move to recoil this cell. Now this move means this thing means that I must make all of those recoils before, and I can't do that because even if I want to try doing that, I'm just forced because every time I make one of those moves, like going here to recoil one of them, I'm blocking the other one, and even if I try to use these, I'm not recoiling anything. So I can't do even these. Doesn't work, of course, because I recoil these, but then the others get trapped. And if I do that, I'm not reaching the cell unless I do something like this and then like this, but I recoil this the wrong thing. Yeah. Yeah, to recoil all of these, you must recoil one here, you must recoil another one here, and then somehow go to recoil all the other stuff, and you can do that, or you do this, but still you can do that because this one would close the cell, and yeah, you can continue, but it's not just a matter of that, it's a matter of how you connect everything, of course. Because you do that and you block everything. Unless you do that at the opposite side, so you do this, and then like somehow you do trying to reach an opportunity in which you can exactly do that. But every time I try, I just recoil the wrong things, and still I can't recoil this one because I don't have enough space. And there are no ways that I make a recoil going this way now, because this just clearly breaks, because those two are not working together, because one of them would recoil into the other one, of course. And so I can't make a move here because I don't have the way to go out here in this direction. So this one is also not working. And so this cell must be this. And so those cells are path cells or recoil. Now, the fact that those cells are path cells or recoils means that if I go straight here, I can't make all of those being path cells, clearly, or recoils. So I must make a move like this one. And now clearly I must continue this way. If I go there, I recoil this cell. Now I can't come from this side. And if I come from this side now, I must come from this side as well. But now I have problems. First of all, now I can't do that. And clearly I can't do that, so I must go up again. And if I go up again and take this cell, now I still have problems. Why? Because now I can't... like if I continue to the right, I still... and like reach the same problem that we were already talking about earlier. So I must go down here with this one going here. So So this works, and now I can't go up, I can't go left unless I go left twice and I block everything, so I must go here. And when I do that, this one can't connect because this would be a bit too much. Same problem that I already had with this being upwards. Unless I don't go there, but I go here. But when I go here and then I go up, the problem is this. That, okay, I could do stuff here, and I mean, if I don't want to change direction here, I get stuck. So I must change direction somehow. No, like this. Can do that. So I could do this, for example. Here I go here, here I go here, and then I go here, I can't continue. Then I go here, I could continue in theory. I have in my screens the fact that this move is not working, and that this move is not working. I'm trying to remember why I said that this move doesn't work. But I had a piece of logic about that. Okay, was it instead about... let me change music, sorry. You need to right mouse. What? What do you mean? This movie is recording here. That's clearly true. Yeah. I still have to recoil this cell. Yeah, but what I'm asking is what happens if I do that? If I do this? I'm not exactly sure I see why this the moment doesn't work. Okay. Oh yeah, yes. This doesn't because of there, but not there. The bottom row there, yes. You need 2 right moves to recoil those. I don't think you're following what I'm saying. Yes, I'm not. I'm not at all. Row 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This row. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about those two? Yes, but what I was saying is not that. What I was saying is. What I was saying is that in this situation, if you are in this situation, specifically in this situation, okay? Okay, this breaks now, this moves breaks. I'm talking of that because in theory, let me just try to explain. This move works to finish this. Yes, yeah, but this is not how I approached this. That's what I'm saying. I'm completely convinced that it's not what I did here. Like absolutely convinced that it's not what I did here. At the moment. Here in the middle. Because you can't really say that this is the most efficient way to do so. Like I don't think you can prove that this is the most efficient thing you can do. Oh, maybe you can prove it, maybe. And now. Yeah, the problem seems to be this move, not the others. But in theory, you could do that, right? And still have space to do this. Okay, but you're talking about now those two cells. So you're counting this one and the other one as well. So you're just counting the 3 rows, not just one of the rows. Because one of the rows just, as I said, okay, maybe not exactly, but okay, it breaks, but it breaks a lot, a long time ahead. That's what that's what I want to say. I don't like that approach. That's too much overlooking, honestly. Yeah, but okay, what I had here is this. I can't do that because if I do that, I took this path, and now this path clearly doesn't work because you must do that. You must continue here. You must continue here, and this one is just not working. You can't. You can't go through here because at a certain point you must go this way and you can't reach. So if you go to the right, now you can't go down. But if you go to the right and you go up, you have another problem. That problem is that you can't reach this, sadly, so you must go here. And when you go here, you can't go here because this one is not enough. It's not working. And all of these is not working. This is just not enough in the terms. So you can't go to the right. So this is a thing that I had. The fact that you can't go here to the right. I mean, next one. Next point is bless you what? Bless you what? How are you recoiling pathing row 5, 7, column 6? 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, those 3 you mean. Yeah. Yes, I agree with you about that. Okay, let me try to explain. I have here in my screens a path that I found here that just didn't work for one of the possible configurations, but I don't want to use that because it's another long variation, like the one that you were showing me. The fact that this breaks after some path, after some moves. Okay, so that's what I was trying to avoid at the moment, because I know that then I found a specific way why this thing didn't work in a simpler way. I had the fact that this one can't go up, so this is literally what I had. I can't go up this way. Now I must remember, that's what I'm trying to do. I must remember why I can't go up. Okay. Maybe I remember. If I go up this way, I can't go to the right. That's clearly not working because I must do that, and that's not working. Yeah, so I must do this if I go to the right. But if I go to the right this way, okay, I was using those two. Okay, I was using those two now. Because if I go here, clearly I can't continue too much because I would reach too much stuff to that point. So I must do that. And now that I do this, I can't go this way. So, for example, I can't like, or I go to the left or I go up. But in any case, I must somehow like let me just show one of the possible ideas. Okay, I can do that even. You do this, you take too much stuff to the right. So it's always the same thing that you can't go here. Okay, probably we can avoid this long thing looking at wait a second. Oh come on. Oh come on. Okay, if I go up here, I must do all of those moves, and all of those moves are just not recoiling. So, oh yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Sorry, that's a better way. If I do that move and then that move, remember that you must reach this one to this. So because you must connect those two things, clearly you're not doing that this way. And if you do that this way, now you're forcing those two at least. Okay, so this is maybe like the most most efficient thing that you could do. And because you want to avoid all the other stuff, this is not working. This is not working. This is not working because you're reaching this side and you can't. And so you could do that exactly now, maybe to do these, then go down. No, you can't. Then go here, you can't. Then go here, you can't. So you want to do this, and still you reach too much stuff to the right. So yeah, it's not just those three. It's always the fact that if you make this move, then the move going upwards, you have no way to connect those two, and find a way to connect those other things, because you can't clearly do that. So you can't go up this way. If you go straight and you go up, this works. But then you can't make this move and you can't make the other move, clearly. So you can't go up. And if you go here, you can't do that as well because this is too much. You have two moves, so that's the point, that you have two moves here. And whatever you do, you still have two moves, unless you... No, it doesn't matter, whatever you do. So you must go straight, and when you go straight here, you take this, you take the other one, and you can't. Or you go just down, and here it works, of course. But now you're just connecting through here, and you're still not connecting this unless you do this move. But this means that you must make all of those recoils before, and still you must make all of those too. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, sorry, I have a better way now. Oh, come on, yeah, I see, sorry. Okay. Okay. We have 1, 2, and 3 moves that are vertical here, somehow. We must make those 3 moves vertically here. And we must find a way to make those 3 moves vertically. Now, though, we don't have too many ways to make those 3 moves vertically. And I'm pretty convinced of that, because if you try to make those 3 moves vertically, you must make those at the right moments. Wait a second. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So if I go up here and then I go to the left, that was the only possible thing that I could do. I still must make 3 moves vertically, and those 3 moves vertically must be 1, 2, and 3, or like 1 and then avoid something, like this one must be like that, and then I must make one of those 2 moves probably. But those 2 moves can't ever be reached because of this. So like if I try to do that or I do something in the middle, it doesn't really matter. I can't go through here. And if I go here, I can't just connect here because every time I do that, I just don't have the third move. So I must go down and I don't reach the other one. So in other words, yeah, okay, that's good. Sorry. That's perfect. I can't go up because if I go up, I go to the left and then I must recoil all of those 3 cells, and I can do that starting considering that at a certain point I must go to the left. And so I will use one of those things as a recoil at the start. In other words, I must go to the left exactly now. And now that I go here, I must go up and finally recoil this cell. Okay. Okay. Why I'm saying okay? Because this was the thing that I had the problem figuring out from my screens. I didn't remember at all what I had. Now I remember. Yeah. So now this move takes this one, and now this means the fact that we have this now means that I can't go here, so I must continue this way. Yeah. Okay. Okay, this seems to work now. Now, next step. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, now I can tell that I can't make this move going this way, because now I have 2 moves here and 2 moves here. So this one would recoil this, and this one would recoil this. And so I have all of these things done, and now I can't ever connect all of those, because, I mean, yeah, I can't do that. I just can't do that. And because this is true, considering that this is going this way, now I can't go through here, and I must go exactly straight, and so this one is always also a recoil cell. Now that I know that this one is also recoil cell, we can tell something more. What I can tell, for example, is that I still need to connect those things in a way that doesn't create problems for the rest of the path. And what I mean is, now I must recoil this one. And how do I recoil this one if I don't recoil it vertically? I must recoil it vertically. Now, this means though that to recoil these things vertically, I can't make this move. Of course, I can't make this. So like this one can't ever be part of the path. In any case, now if this one is not part of the path, I don't have enough moves to recoil these unless I do these. Like oh yeah, maybe I should first say that this one doesn't work for the same reasons. 1 and 2. Now this is clearly not working. Again, same problem. You can't do that now, and so you can't go through here at the same time. This means that this one is also that. And now that I know this, those two moves must be recoiled vertically. Now, because those two moves must be recoiled vertically, I need two moves here going downwards. Now, if I take those two going downwards, this means that here I go there, and I have no way to recoil all of those together at the same time, because if I reach this, there are three moves here. Yeah, but I could in theory... Wait a second. I could do that, though, at this point. Yeah, I could do this at this point, of course. Yeah, but this is reaching this cell. Okay, so the question is, what if this one is not a recoil as well? And now I must take those two recoils. If this is true, now this one must be recoiled before. And how do I recoil this one before I go to here? I can't. So I must use this move. So I must use this move as well. This one takes this recoil. And now... like, this means that I can't make this move, I think. Because if I take this move, this one would recoil there, and I can't. So this move must go here. And now if I go up and then to the left, this works, but now I must make too many horizontal moves there, and I can't. So if I do that, this breaks, unless I go here, but then the row breaks. The column breaks, sorry, so I can't go here and I can't go here. So there are only two possible moves from the starting point. One of them is the one in which you go down. If you go down, now you must go here, and now I must go up taking that, or I must go here and this one would get trapped. So I can't go down, so I must go here. Now that I go here, the point is I can't go down, so I must go up, and now I take this. Now that I take this, I have one option, that is this, but I can't go down, so I must continue this way, take that, and now finally I can go here, go down, and now go right and right again, taking all of those possible sets. And then I take this one and this one as well. Okay, finally we have a thing that was less strange and more normal in terms of what I wanted to do here. So that's a good thing, honestly. Now if from here I go to the right, then I'm forced to go up, but then how do I recoil this cell? I must make two moves here. And when I make those two moves here, in any case I do the thing, I would still be trapped by the thing that I must connect through here. So I can't go to the right here, I must go up again, taking this cell. And now I need another one that must be this one, of course, so I need this. Here I go to the right, taking this cell. And now that I take this cell, I must go up, because if I go down this way, this is in theory possible, but then I still need one recoil to do, and I can't make that recoil here going downwards, so I can't go here, and now I can't go to the right, so I must go up. Now that I go up, though, if I connect straight, I still have space, but if I do that and that and that, I still have space. The problem is that this would create a wall that I can't use, so I must connect it straight. Now, because I must connect it straight, it means oh yeah, it means that now from here I must go up, taking this move, and now I must make those two moves, and those two moves must be those two, 1 and 2. So this one connects here, this one connects to the right, taking this move, so I can't continue, I must go up. And now I must go up again, so I take this one to make this move to the right. And now that I'm here, now those two moves are reaching one. Sorry, now those two moves must reach this one and this one. So this move must be reached before. How? Oh yeah. Yeah, now I can't go down, because if I try to go down once, so I go down once more, there are problems here. The first problem is that this move and this move must be vertical. And this move must be vertical as well in this world. So yes, those two moves just recoil downwards. If you go down now, you cannot recoil the cell in the middle. Okay, if you go down here, now I must do that to recoil this cell. And now I must go down here, and now I don't have enough space to recoil this, unless I go down once. And then I go here, and then I go down again. And then I still must reach this, and then I go down again. But then I have no space to recoil that cell. In row 9, how is the single green X being recoiled that the fastest soul cell is recoiled? 5, 6, 9, yeah. How is the single green being recoiled? What? Okay, you're talking about this cell, of course, yeah. Yeah, and that was my point. Those two must recoil down here. So this one must be recoiled horizontally somehow in some places. Now I could do that this way if I go here, but then this one will never be get recoiled. Okay, that's a good point. So I must go here, and then I go down, take this, and then finally I can go here, take this cell, I can go down, and now that I go down this way, and now that I go down this way, oh yeah, I see. Now, if I go to the left, I don't have a way to go down. If I go to the right, I can connect down, but now I don't have a way to recoil this cell at all. That's not true. This one will get recoiled by this, sorry. So I could go here and then here. Oh yeah, this is what's gonna happen. Okay, of course. So now if I go down instead, now if I go here, I trap everything. Can't go down again. I must go here, I take down, and now I don't have enough space to recoil. So I must go here and then I go down. Okay, yeah, that's good. And now I must recoil this cell, and the only thing that could recoil this cell is this. Now I must go down to recoil the last one. Now I finally connect, I complete the puzzle. Yeah, okay.